Oh, we're counting now.
Hi guys, Joshua Peterson here, Peterson Electric. It is January 4th, 2022. We've got snow outside here in Colorado, which is a good thing. For my SEO guy, we're going to be calling this video the Sense Monitor. It's a wattage stopper or wattage saver. I wouldn't say it stops anything other than you paying attention to what you're not turning off. But it's made by SE. I've put in about 5 of these now. The instructions are pretty straightforward, okay? I would say IT guys and people that are familiar with electrical could probably do it themselves. It's pretty simple. But the thing that you're looking for is a side-by-side unit where your meter is separate from your panel and you have feeders inside. In this unit, these monitors have to go up inside of this feeder, and this tag and this cannot be typically broken unless you're calling the utility company. So this right here wires down into the bottom. The antenna can go out the side, but you'll have to have a unibit to drill it. He has a knockout. I wouldn't use all my knockouts down there, but if I had to move it, I could. My only complaint is that the antenna is not long enough and this unit is too large. It's hard to fit in here. So right here is a surge protected device I put in for him. And there's actually 2 spots in that Siemens in there that I could put it on there and save 2 breaker spots. He wants to get solar in the future, but you have to have 2 bottom spots, bottom fed, to feed it. So in any which way in the future, he's gonna have a sub panel put here. He also probably needs 2 spots to back feed to do a Ronca switch, which is gonna be a transfer switch for us in order to do a gas generator that you roll up, okay? So keep in mind there's a few spots there that could be missing. We did take up 2 spots in 2017 to feed a sub panel to the basement, and that's what took that up. Now this is already pretty much has all of its twins and quads put in here, so it's pretty full. So keep in mind when you're putting this thing in, this is going to help monitor that, and so we don't get into that side. The customer usually goes in and turns it on and links it to their computer or their app. The Wattage Saver, from my understanding, helps you understand what circuits are going to be basically being consumed. So for instance, your refrigerator and your air conditioning unit, they work on microfarads, but when they kick on the sine wave, they're going to be kicking on with capacitors. And then you've got resistive elements, which used to be light bulbs, which really more is like your space heaters and your heaters for your oven and your wall oven, your cooktop, things like that, your baseboard heating. And then there's other things that you're going to have in the house that might have a difference on the sine wave. Linear, non-linear loads for those of you that have fluorescent lamps from the past T12, T8s. And then now your simple LED circuits as well. So it might help you notice most of all that you're keeping lights on. You could do motion sensors in the house and turn stuff off, or you could continue to yell at your kids like I do, turn the lights off. Either way around it, everything has a little bit of its issue. One thing customers like when they drive in the garage, we install a RAB sensor at 270 degrees eyeball seeing. If it's in sit right in an attic, we can get up there and basically turn those lights on when somebody drives in, and then they turn off so people aren't leaving lights on as well. All of this is about trying to have wattage saving and a conscientious about how that you're spending too much money on it. Bottom line of it, it's a great system to have even when you go to solar too. But mind you, if you're going to go to solar, you don't need to go to solar just because you bought an electric car. That's not necessary. There are homes in Fort Collins to this day that do not have gas lines in that subdivision, and I know they're right by Rocky Mountain High School, so there were condos and townhomes. They are like smaller units of 1,000 square foot, and they have 200 amps, and that's because they had all electric base heat. If you have all electric house and you're trying to save money, some of the best things to do over 30, 40, 50 years is to definitely change out your thermostats for your base heaters. Those contacts continually break and break and break and turn on. And when you're breaking current, it builds up a carbon dust on top of that contact, no different than plaque on your teeth. And over time, the voltage doesn't really go through as well. The heaters don't perform as well. Heaters do also age as well, especially if you don't have that cover. You should have it on for protection of the children. They do make cove heaters, but yes, I would change those units out. Is that going to completely stop and save money? Not necessarily. True wattage is true wattage. If it's 225 watts a linear foot on your baseboard heating, you're not really going to drop your bill. But if you also pay attention to your thermostat and your windows not being open, or if your windows are leaking or your front door or your back door, then you're continually having your thermostat not satisfied, and therefore then the heat is continually running, and so is your wallet being drained. But with some of these cities around here and their utilities with their 1, 2, 3 tier program like Fort Collins, they do charge a lot more in the summer, especially for air conditioning. Air conditioning for people to stay cool, you're going to pay a premium if you're during this prime time, probably most likely from 10 to 2. Anyways, guys, the other thing I want to talk to you about here is when you're sticking this unit in, you're going to have 2 breaker spots, and I use a surge protected device, so it does a 2-in-1 for him. I can get all types of surge protected devices for Siemens, as well as the big unit mounted on the side. So with this video, with this Wattage Saver, this is something you're probably going to need a professional to get it in on the line side for you. Anyways, guys, hopefully that was informational for you. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon.